Isère, France, but really the realm of story. August 2020. Witness Notes 28. After you have read these introductory paragraphs once, you can skip to the new, old content here. If you are listening, then the timestamp is around the 2-minute 45-second mark. Introduction. The word settle to me carries connotations I am keen to avoid. I have never felt settled, or perhaps I cannot recall a time I felt settled. I do not feel settled now, writing this, and I've lived in the same house for 3.5 years. Without even discussing the obvious issues of colonisation, I just don't feel like I could or should settle. Better to keep my constituent parts shook up, agitated perhaps, rather than separating and stagnant. Instead, I feel as though I have been travelling for years, maybe because I have not lived in my home nation of Scotland for 8.5 years. Perhaps because I know I won't stay here forever, or maybe because I carry that concept of home in a way which differs from many. More precisely, I still think of myself as a slow traveller, globally feral. Recently, I have been revisiting places through the photographs and words I recorded when my feet crossed their soil. This is a way of reminding myself of where I have been, not just in space and time, but in mind too. It is a wonderful thing to come out of below and rediscover myself through words I crafted, through the lens of a camera, when memory has wandered in the fog for too long. Thank you, past me. When I first started sharing letters with the world in this fashion 6 or more years ago, I usually began them with a vignette of where I was, a sort of travel diary mixed with nature observation, locking in the setting for the reader before I spoke of other things, and by so doing ensuring that place fed into the whole. It was a useful device for a reader and myself both, but as these letters were sent to so few readers, and now languish archived behind a paywall, I thought it a shame not to share these snippets again. As such, I am going to share a short series of these sketches accompanied by a photograph from that time, sent to you in date order, beginning with the second eldest. I shall include the above paragraphs in each of the letters in this series, but I shall also include a link at the very start so you can skip ahead once you are familiar with the above words. If you are listening and similarly want to skip, then the timestamp you want to navigate to will be in the same place. Taken without these paragraphs, each is a short read, and I hope you enjoy them. Isère, France, but really the realm of story. August 2020. It is hard in this day and age to discuss certain ideas without others immediately leaping upon you, denouncing your views and thoughts in the public arena. We live in a time of echoes, reverberations of the past bouncing back into the political playbook of today. There are those amongst us who now believe politics is and always has been us versus them, rather than a meeting of minds, debate, and then a consensus and way forward as it should be. Even now, I am guessing there may be some of you reading this paragraph and being repelled, pushed away, even if perhaps you enjoyed all my other words. The mention of the P word does that. Everything we do is political, whether you like it or not. There is no escaping this reality. For example, to state, I don't do politics, is, in and of itself, clearly a political stance. However, despite my worries about upsetting people, there comes a time to nail one's colours firmly to the mast, even if they upset others. My fiction is and always will be political. Fiction is a medium for me to share thoughts and ideas in a format which others find palatable and indeed delicious. Those who believe politics should be kept out of fiction have not been paying attention, ever, especially in the genres of science fiction and fantasy. This is how it is done. We turn ideas into story, rinse and repeat, for many, many hundreds of years, or thousands in some cases. Hello, Homer. Good day, Gilgamesh. I believe in fairness, in kindness, in equality for all. I believe in imagination, in love, in science, and our ability to overcome problems through discussion and brain power. We are an extraordinary species, and it upsets me that too many of us waste what little time we have before we return to stardust. We should all be questioning what we do in life, our choices and paths, and whether they enhance us as a whole or not. And if not, considering how to change, how to grow. Great things can be vast, but they also operate at a micro scale. Small joys are easy to share, tiny transgressions of happiness easy to conceal. Division and destruction are not in my nature, but, and this is a big but, that does not mean I am weak or powerless. This is too often the assumption of the bully, of those who seek to shout over others, the meek, the quiet, the thinkers. We are the ones you do not want as your enemy. Kindness is something which is too often co-opted these days, cash value added to all. We should only be kind if we receive something in turn. Perhaps it is time we started to seriously question this, to question how we can flourish as a species, how we can progress, not against the planet, stripping its resources with no thought to the outcome, but with our home, with nature. I think we can do this. I think we can make the changes necessary, but I am also prepared to accept others will attempt to block this, for reasons of division and power games, for reasons of money and hatred of the other. For this reason, I think it is important we try our hardest to stand tall, to call out injustice, to lend a hand when someone else needs lifting up, to form a barrier against those who see the tide of us versus them as the only way. Link arms and stand firm. At times we may feel we are alone in an otherwise overwhelming tide of darkness, but we are not. For it is not just the valleys of the Alps which harbour gathering clouds. Everywhere around the world there is a sense of storms, echoes of dark pasts. I just hope we are ready for the moment they break, able to find shelter and weather the changes to come. For me, well, I'll keep writing, keep sneaking message after message into my stories and work. Sometimes, like this letter, this will be overt. Most of the time, however, you won't even notice until it is too late. Story is a spell, and thoughts and words the ingredients. Finally, if you can afford to, there are currently 2 direct ways to support my work here. The first is to take out a paid subscription. The second way to support me here is to use my Ko-fi button link to send a tip of any amount. If you enjoyed this letter and wish to share it with others, please do so. I love it when someone shares my work. I also love it when you comment on a piece. Really, really love it. Thank you. Finally, many thanks for reading. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who does.